Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, how is it possible that billionaires keep getting richer, and yet pay less in taxes than most working people? You work a 9-to-5 job, maybe even overtime. Your salary gets taxed before you even touch it. Then you pay more taxes at the store, more taxes on fuel, and more at the end of the year if you owe. And if you're lucky enough to invest and make a profit, the government wants a cut of that too. But the rich, they've found a way to legally dodge the system. It's called buy, borrow, die. It might sound like a spy movie or a secret code, but it's actually a real financial strategy that allows the wealthy to live tax-free, even while spending millions. It's a loophole so powerful, so clean, and so silent, that most people don't even know it exists. And the best part, it's completely legal. Here's how it works. First, the rich don't earn money the way most people do. They don't rely on salaries. They buy assets, like stocks, companies, and real estate, that increase in value over time. But instead of selling those assets and paying taxes on the profits, they borrow money against them. They take out huge loans, backed by their wealth. Loans aren't income, so there are no taxes. Then they use that borrowed cash to fund their lifestyles, homes, cars, vacations, private jets, all tax-free. And when they die, there's one last trick that wipes out the tax bill completely. In this video, I'll break down exactly how the buy, borrow, die strategy works. Step by step, I'll show you how billionaires use it, why it's legal, and why it's out of reach for the average person. But most importantly, I'll show you how this one loophole is widening the gap between the rich and everyone else. Welcome to the hidden game of the rich. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's dive in. Let's start with the first step in the strategy. Buy. When you or I get some extra money, we might save it in a bank account, or maybe invest a little in stocks or mutual funds. But the wealthy, they buy assets, and lots of them, and not just any assets. They focus on appreciating assets, things that grow in value over time. Think stocks in top companies, high-end real estate, private businesses, rare art, or even cryptocurrency. These assets are like money trees. They quietly increase in value year after year. But here's the key, they don't sell them. Why? Because selling triggers taxes. If a billionaire buys $10 million worth of Amazon stock and it grows to $50 million, the profit, $40 million, is considered unrealized gains. It exists on paper, but as long as it's not sold, the IRS can't touch it. No sale equals no tax. This is the first secret weapon of the rich. They build massive, untaxed wealth just by holding valuable assets, while regular people get taxed on their paycheck every 2 weeks. The ultra-rich sit back and watch their net worth climb, tax-free, just because they own the right things. They don't need a salary. Their wealth works for them. And this is just the beginning, because once they've built up these high-value assets, they use them as leverage in the next step: borrowing. Stay with me, because the next move is where the magic really begins. Now that the rich have bought their assets and watched them grow, it's time for step 2. Borrow. This is where things get really clever. Instead of selling their stocks or real estate and triggering capital gains tax, the ultra-wealthy do something else. They go to the bank and borrow against their assets. Let me explain. Imagine you own $100 million in stocks. Instead of selling them and paying millions in taxes, you use those stocks as collateral to take out a massive loan. The bank is happy to lend you money, because your assets are backing the loan. You're a low-risk borrower, even if you're not technically earning a salary. And guess what? That loan, it's not income, so it's not taxable. Let that sink in. They can borrow millions of dollars, spend it however they want, and legally pay zero income tax. They use these loans to buy cars, private jets, fund businesses, even live day-to-day to the outside world. They're spending. But technically, they're just using borrowed money, and borrowed money isn't taxed. It's like having a credit card with no interest and no due date, backed by your own wealth. Even better, loan interest is often tax deductible, especially for business-related expenses. So not only do they avoid taxes, they might also get a tax break for borrowing. It's a money loop that's hard to beat. Buy assets, borrow against them. Live like a king. Pay no taxes. But this only works when you're rich enough to own valuable assets in the first place. That's why it's a strategy only the wealthy can use. And there's one final piece to this puzzle, the part that makes the entire tax bill disappear forever. That final step, die. Stay tuned, because what happens after death is the richest trick of all. Now we've come to the final move in the strategy: die. It may sound cold, but for the ultra-wealthy, even death is part of the financial plan. Let's rewind for a second. Remember, they bought assets, let them grow, and borrowed against them to live tax-free. But there's still one problem. What happens to those assets after they die? You might think their heirs would be hit with a huge tax bill. After all, someone has to pay for all those unrealized gains, right? Well, not exactly. Here's where the final trick comes in. It's called the step-up in basis. It's a tax rule that resets the value of an asset after someone dies. Let's say a billionaire bought stock for $10 million. and now it's worth $100 million. If they sold it while alive, they'd pay capital gains tax on $90 million in profit. But if they die holding it, the value of the asset gets stepped up to the current market price, $100 million. Now, when their children inherit it, it's as if they bought it at $100 million. If they sell it right away, there's no taxable gain. Just like that, decades of tax liability completely erased. This is how generational wealth is passed on tax-free. The original owner never sold, so never paid taxes. The next generation gets a clean slate. It's not a glitch, it's built into the tax code. Buy, borrow, die. .nn. Repeat the cycle. For the rich, this isn't just a strategy, it's a system. A financial cheat code that lets them build and protect wealth forever, while regular people work, pay taxes, and start over every generation. But is this fair, or is the game rigged? In the next scene, we'll look at the bigger picture and ask the question everyone's thinking: should this even be legal? So now you know the full strategy. But borrow, die. It's legal. It's powerful, and it's only available to those who are already wealthy. While most people work hard, earn a salary, and pay taxes every step of the way, the ultra-rich grow their wealth through assets, avoid taxes, through borrowing, and then erase the tax bill completely when they die. It's not a loophole hidden in the shadows, it's right there in the tax code, and it's being used by billionaires every day. So here's the big question: is this smart financial planning, or is it a broken system that favors the wealthy and leaves everyone else behind? Some say this strategy rewards those who invest and take risks. Others say it's unfair because average people don't have access to the same tools, assets, or advisors. Whatever side you're on, one thing is clear: the rules of money are not the same for everyone. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Let's keep exposing the truth about how money really works and who the system is really built for. Thanks for watching.